Okay, so now let's talk about a dot plot. So for a dot plot, let's see here. For a dot plot, let's get a definition in here first. In a dot plot, each data entry is plotted using a point above a horizontal axis. Okay. So let's see an example. They want us to use a dot plot to organize, the data set in example number 1. Describe any patterns. Okay, so we need to draw a horizontal axis here. Some sort of horizontal axis. I'm going to kind of do it down here. Good enough for me. Let's do this in red. There we go. Okay, now what was our lowest? Our lowest was a 24. Our highest was a 73. So maybe on my tick marks, I count by 5s. So we're going to have 20. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Now, I'm going to do 20 here. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Oh, I need to go a little bit further with this. That's okay. 65, 70, 75. I'm just going to go and mark it all the way out to 80. There we go. Okay, and let's also give this a title. So this is hours worked per week. Okay, and then we go through and we put our dots on the line. Now I'm going to use the original data set. That way you can see how a dot plot is really constructed. So I guess I could put just a small insert of the data. Just kind of move this like, I'll just leave it right there. Just so we can reference it. Okay, now, we put dots here. And the thing you have to remember when doing a dot plot, the thing you got to remember is to stack your dots. So 40. I'll go over here and I'll put a dot at 40. 73. That's going to be like right here. 35. 48. 38. 40. This is where I said stack your dots. I stack them right on top of each other. 36. 50. 40. So I gotta stack it again. And then you keep going through in this manner until they're all done. So I'm going to pause the video. That way y'all aren't sitting here watching me just do a bunch of dots. Once I finish, I'll restart. With that said, in this video, it won't look like I paused it. It'll just look like they appeared. So I suggest you hitting pause and trying to finish your dots as well. Okay, so now all of my dots are on the number line or on the axis. So now we have to describe any patterns, just like we were doing before. Come on, I don't want that there. Oh, there we go. Let me get in here. So let's see, what patterns did we see? What can we see? Well, most of the data is between 30 and 40. That's definitely clear. We can see that 4 people worked over 40 hours. So these, there's 4 dots above 40 and there's 1 dot below 30. But that's something that visually you can look at on the dot plot and you can see that quick. I mean, just boom, it's done. You see it. So let's put that as our pattern. From the dot plot, I can spell, we can see that most data entries occur between 30 and 40 hours, and that 4 people were over 40 hours, and 1 person worked under 30 hours. Okay, there's our pattern on the dot plot. So again, this is called a dot plot. Now we're going to look at something called a pie chart. So, let's come down here. Put that kind of in there like that. Excuse me. So another definition. A pie chart is a circle that is divided into sectors that represent categories. The area of each sector is proportional to the frequency of each category. So you've probably seen pie charts, that you may have seen them in elementary school or something along those lines. It's just essentially showing you what percent of the whole satisfies some requirement. So in this next example, it's not the first example, but it's the pie chart example we're going to do. It's looking at degrees. Like, and by degree, I mean like college degree or high school diploma or something like that. So let's see, is that one? Yep, it's ready to go. So insert screen clip. There we go. Okay, the number of earned degrees conferred in thousands in 2014 are shown at the table at the right. Use a pie chart to organize the data. Okay, so since the definition says it's divided into sectors that represent the categories and the area is proportional to the frequency, we need to figure out the angle of each sector. So the way we're going to do that is get a total down here. So how many total people did we have? Well, let's add them up. Let's see here. Get my calculator up. I know y'all can't really see the chart, so let me fix that. There we go. So 3 plus 1870 plus 754 plus 178. So there are 3805. That's our total. 3805. Okay, this is our total frequency. So what I need to do out here is I need to get a relative frequency. Remember back from the last section, relative frequency is the number in that category divided by how many there are total. So I need to do 1003 divided by 3805. So 1003 divided by 3805. 0.264 roughly. 0.264. And then that'll help me get my angle. How many degrees are in a circle? Well, there are 360 degrees in a circle. So I need to do the 0.264 times 360. I'm going to come to my calculator and times this by 360, and I get 94.89. So like 95 degrees basically is how big this sector needs to be. 95 degrees. Okay. And then I do move on to bachelors. So 1870 divided by 3805. 1870 divided by 3805. 0.491. 0.491. That's our relative frequency. So to get my angle, I would do 0.491 times 360. So times 360. 176.9, so we're going to say about 177. So 177 degrees for that one. And then you would keep going in the same manner for the rest of these categories. So 754 divided by 3805, just to save us some time, we get 0.198. And then it's angled, we now times that by 360, I get roughly 71 degrees. And then 178 divided by 3805 for doctoral degrees. You get 0.047 times by 360, and we get roughly 17 degrees. So now that tells me, when I go to draw my circle, how big each wedge, or sector, if I want to use the technical definition, how big each sector needs to be representative of the data given. So that's our next step now. Let's go and draw our circle. We've done all the grunt work. Now let's draw the circle. Okay. So we've got our circle here. I'm going to make it honey teal. Okay. Now, what I like to do once I have my circle, I'm going to kind of line it up here. Just trying to line it up to where it's just about center. Okay, so I like to kind of put a dot in the middle, because that's where everything's going to kind of start from, is right smack dab here in the middle. Okay, so now I can start by drawing a line out here. There we go. Our first wedge is associate's degree, and it needs to be 95 degrees. Well, that's just past the right angle. Just a hair past it. So maybe right here is a 95 degree angle. I'm trying to see if I don't think I have a protractor I could put on here. Ruler. There we go. Got it. Now if I just figure out how to work it. Okay. There we go. Now let's see what I need to do. Nope. That's not going to be it either. Okay. That line was way off. So what I'm going to do, I have it set on 85 degrees because it's weird. But anyways, so I'm going to line it up here, and then that'll help me. That'll help me to draw my line here. I can draw it along this ruler, or at least attempt to. And you can see it's just past that upright. There we go. So there's that one. This is associate's degrees. So I'm going to label it and say associates. Yeah, let me get this ruler out of my way. Get out of there. Associates. And it's roughly 26.4%. Okay, and then I get the doctoral students. Not doctoral, sorry. Bachelors. Okay, now the bachelors is just a hair shy of 180 degrees. So it's a hair shy of a perfect line. So I've adjusted my ruler to make sure. Ideally you'd use a protractor if you want to get nitty gritty. But this is the best I can do with the computer. So I'm going to draw this. But I've adjusted it to where it's going to be 3 degrees shy of a full line, like I want it. Okay. So you can see where that's not quite a full line. It's not quite a straight line. It bends just a teeny tiny bit, just enough to make you feel uncomfortable. Where it's like, the line's not straight. Help me. But we don't want it to be. Because a bachelor's degree is 49.1%. Now you're like, well, why did you line it up like that and not, because once I draw a new line, that's my starting point. So if I put this ruler, it's like, okay, now that's my starting point. I need to rotate this ruler 71 degrees now. So if I think of it being here at 88, 88 minus 71 is what? 17 degrees. So I need 17 degrees left on my ruler. There we go. I'll put it right there. And then I'm going to go in and draw my line. And there we go. There's our pie chart. I'm going to add my labels and the pie chart will be done. So this is masters. That's the category I fall into because else I wouldn't be able to teach this. It's going to be 19.8%. And then sometimes you'll see if they can't fit it in, you'll see like a line like this saying doctoral, in our case, and it's going to be 4.7%. Okay, but there's our chart. Sometimes they go in and they add little pretty highlighting, like if I wanted to come in and just highlight this one blue, I could. And then say, oh, well, I want this one to be pink. I want masters to be green. Sometimes they color code them, sometimes they don't. Kind of like the Almond Joy and Mounds commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. But anyways. How's that look on just normal plain paper, you ask? Well, if I can change the background here. I know it's somewhere. It's somewhere. I just don't remember where I got the dark background at. Anyways, there. You'll see it when I print the notes out. On here, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it eventually. Thinking it was under view. But I don't remember. Switch background. There we go. So you can kind of see how I've color coded them a little bit. You know, I kind of colored in the wedges a bit. But anyways, I like that. There we go. Okay, so last thing it says is to, well, it doesn't tell us to identify any patterns, but on the homework, you'll have to identify some patterns. So let's do that. Let's identify some patterns. So what can we see from this pie chart? From the pie chart, you can see that almost 1/2 of the degrees conferred in 2014 were bachelor's degrees. That's something easy that we can see. So if I go switch backgrounds, you can really see that easily just looking at the colors. It's like, oh, half that chart's blue. Yeah, it is. Because almost half were bachelors. So even without the data, we could see that. Even without the data, we could see that. Okay, so that's dot plots and pie charts. That's what you've seen in this video. So in the next video, we'll get our next two graphs, Pareto charts and scatter plots. Stay tuned.